Welcome to Taktile Talks with your host, Ken Heisinger, the show about everything digital embellishment.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Taktile Talks. I'm your host, Ken Heisinger, and this is a podcast where we discuss topics of interest in the world of print embellishment. And I like to have guests that are trendsetters in the industry. And speaking of trendsetters, I have one of the trendsetters in the industry. This is Matt Redbear. He's from Blue Ocean Press. He has over 40 years experience in design and print, and has years of experience designing things specifically for the JETvarnish. He's also the creative director and chief design consultant for Taktile. Welcome, Matt. It's great to have you here today.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for inviting me.
You know, I know we both have been in the production environment for many years, and I think about you designing for it and you learning like I did early on. When you first got your JETvarnish, can you talk a little bit about how excited you were to get it and what your expectations were early on?
Oh my, I was concerned about my own expectations because I didn't know what they should be. It was such a completely gray area, and my only exposure to anything regarding the machine were from viewing and holding and touching previous samples that I had seen at other print shops, and was just amazed at this output. And I was thinking, how do they do this? How does this work? So I had this whole mysterious thing going on in my head about how this process might work because I'd never seen it happen. And I pretty much put it all together wrong. But after getting the machine on the floor and starting to work with it, it all came together pretty quick.
When you did your first couple of jobs, what did you think of your how good did they look? Were they awesome out of the box, or did you have to fine tune some things?
It was surprisingly really good out of the box. And that was before we even got to the point of fine tuning things, where it would be, I don't know, we wouldn't have the extra registration marks, or we didn't really know what we were doing. We were just plopping things on the page and hoping that the artificial intelligence scanner would just do its job like it should. We later found out that there are other ways to enhance its ability by laying out the pages differently, using registration marks down the side. But from the get-go, it was the registration, the performance was really impressive. And I know my boss was happy, so something was definitely working right.
I know I found once we had acquired a JETvarnish, it seemed that the creative and design outside world was a little bit more impressed with our company. Did you have a similar experience at Blue Ocean Press where you now looked at it a little bit differently?
Yeah, it has elevated the brand identity of Blue Ocean Press. And it's also elevated the brand identity of our customers that have used the process in their print work. So the whole, it does have a mystique that goes with it, and it makes people think and wonder a little bit differently when they do see it. So if you're associated with it, then there's some kind of increase in the way that you're perceived in the industry.
What kind of learning curve did it take you as a designer to start mastering file prep? Did you catch on right away? Did it take 6 months? What some of the obstacles you had to overcome?
It took a little while. For the first, I'd say 2-3 months, we just did test work in-house, where we took jobs that we had already done and then went back to press and printed them with the idea of what can we do with this job now that we have this technology. And so we came up with embellishment overlays, foil accents, all kinds of other things that can be done, and reproduced the same jobs that we had already done for our customers for a couple of reasons: to experiment, just to give it a try, see what we could do, what worked, what didn't, what looked good, and what did not look good. And there was lots of that, let me tell you, but you don't know it till you try. Then the other reason was to take that work, finish it, cut it, fold it, do whatever was originally done to it, and then take it back to the original customer that had the work done and say, this is what you can do now.
What
So
did the samples that you were producing, was that did that have the biggest impact on the designers?
it had the biggest impact on the sales staff, on the people who actually buy the work, who uh, uh, write the POs and send the jobs to us. At that point, they were like, wow, we can go another step further and look different from everyone else around.
Were there some design elements then that your sales staff was getting a little over ambitious with that you had to stem back and try and bring them down to reality?
It just takes repetition. And yeah, you got to give everyone credit for trying to try things. Like, well, hey, what if we did this, or what if we did that? I have one salesperson that's just like that. He's always like, well, if we did this and we did that, and what would happen if we did this and we did that? And then he'd want to try it. He wants me to try it, and then of course most of the things don't look good, but then you find out why.
Now, I've seen many of the jobs you created. I have a couple right here with me. This is amazing looking product, and I know that this is your dream, your design. You had a hand in making this particular brochure. What inspires you to take a regular piece of printing, make it three-dimensional, and make it look this incredibly awesome?
Well, I don't know that it's inspiration. Is it more than it is just curiosity? Um, and I really try not to go overboard, because a lot of people do. They just like slather it on. And I've had customers that have done it. Their art departments have done it that way. Just tons of varnish, tons of foil, and they like it that way. And that's how we do it for them. And it looks good. It can look good under the right circumstances. But for me, it's just the curiosity of, what if we just do this, and a little bit of varnish here, a little bit of foil there, and just like when you pick it up, where your fingers lay on the piece, what are they touching? And then what is your reaction? What are you feeling when you pick up the piece? That's where my curiosity comes in. And I guess in a way that's inspiration.
Yeah, I enjoyed having designers come in and talk to them about uh, a whole new world, right? Everybody can produce print, but can everybody produce embellished print? Can you come up with this whole new game for your company that allows you to push your products even higher to better customers, the people that have bigger budgets, to have more impact on the end user? So I know exactly what you're talking about there.
Yeah.
Um, as you know, there's a new helpful user community for embellishment that's about to go live. It's called the JETforce.org, and it exists for dialogue, support, and general helpful information. I know you're going to play a key role in that community. What are your thoughts on finally having a community for JETvarnish users, and what do you hope to contribute to it?
Well, it's been attempted before, through other means and ways, and it just never really quite had the gravity to take off. But I think now, uh, timing is everything. Uh, it's I really see this as having a lot of potential right now. There's a new upswing of interest, with operators and designers and other people who are interested in this technology, particularly with the MGI community, because it is got to be one of the most versatile machines out there. It can handle, if you really want to experiment, this is where you do it. So, on an MGI machine with an MGI platform, that's where that's where all the curiosity comes from. So,
Now, I know you're going to have a show that's going to premiere on the site. I think we're very fortunate to have that, to be able to crack into that designing head of yours and find out how we can make stuff look this great. What's it going to be called, and what do you plan to talk about on it?
well, it's not just a show. I mean, there's going to be several aspects of my presence there, and one of the things I want to do is more of a couple different video series. One will be more of a lengthier, how-to series, where each segment is a little bit longer, goes into some detail, a lot of directions on the screen, actually screen recordings of how to do certain things and achieve certain results. And then I want to attempt, um, a bunch of shorter videos that can actually, they don't even have to be a video. They can be a series of photographs, but put together, strung together in a video form, in a format. Basically tips and tricks. So, quick little 30-second, 1 minute, maybe 1.5 minute segments of, hey, did you know? Or if you did this, or have you tried that? Or, these quick little things that you can just look at every week or so and say, okay. And then, of course, this type of interview platform, video podcast, that type of thing, interviewing designers, and anybody that has, whether it's an agency or a print shop front end, private designer, that type of thing. Just interview them, see what makes them tick, what would get them into this, why, if they're not into it, why they have not quite put their foot through the door yet, find those reasons why and move on from there.
Well, that's awesome, Matt. Hey, it's great to talk to you. You're full of great knowledge. If your videos on thejetforce.org are anything close to what I've seen you produce on YouTube, we're in for a real treat. And I thank you for taking time to talk to us today.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. Thanks for having me.
That was Taktile Talks with Ken Huizinga. Join us next time.